Last time on Varrick World. After a daring escapade down in the iceworks, our heroes were called in to do some interrogation with Chief of Police Lin Bei Fong. Varrick had set up a new police station temporarily within Varrick World so that they could come in and do some investigation. And investigating they did. What was uncovered? Apparently Shen Shaoxing was part of a secret shadowy organization known as the Grey Lotus. But he's a bit tight-lipped. Does he know more or does he not know more? We'll find out. After that interrogation, Grandma Halmeoni stuck behind and gained some more information. After 4 hours, they managed to get one little bit of info about a group that is trying to prey upon instability between the four nations. After this intense interrogation, it was time for a little downtime and relaxation, as Marion was commissioned by Spider-Batman to build a gliding apparatus that was then maybe sabotaged by Grandma Halmeoni in ways that we don't quite understand yet.
Not on purpose, for the record.
Incompetence is not the same thing as malice. We acknowledge this here in Varrick World. But after a long day, everybody is finally going to rest, and night falls over Varrick World. What's going to happen next? Let's find out! What's shaking, everybody? You're listening to ImpTab Avatar Varrick World, the Avatar Legends actual play where we make up almost everything on the spot. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and today I've been joined by...
Connor Wood, survivor of pink drinks.
Justin Porter, a.k.a. JP, and let's get dangerous.
Hey. And Thomas Ryan, friendly neighborhood T.
Well, not only shall we get dangerous, perhaps even let's get nuts.
Ooh. Want to go nuts?
Come on, let's get nuts.
Well, speaking of Batman references, let's take a look over at Shen Shaoxing. You have climbed up into your hammock, getting ready for your roommates on the other side of the wall to stop listening to the commentary of the latest pro bending match. And after they have finally gone to sleep, what does Shen Shaoxing do after night falls across Varrick World?
Shen Shaoxing after nightfall, I mean, I need to go on patrol, I think.
Yeah.
It's at night. This is my time of the day. So I get all my gear on. And I look at myself in the mirror, though, before I go, and I'm just like, yep, look good. Okay. And then I jump out the window and test out the glider without actually testing out at first. And this apartment's up high, so hopefully it works.
All right. Let's have you rely on your skills and training.
Have you told us what your suit looks like?
Ooh.
Oh, that's
I don't think I've actually heard it described before.
What's your color scheme?
I kind of want to commission Sammy to draw it because it's kind of hard what I'm envisioning. But basically a mixture of Spider-Man and Batman. So just imagine like a Batman suit with like Spider-Man designs on it.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Sick.
But like the
Venom suit, yeah.
Yeah, and then like little reds and blacks here, and a little, maybe some blues. Who knows? But
I like it.
I don't know. You listeners, if you can submit some drawings of Spider-Batman, we'll pick the best one.
Send some fan art in.
Yeah.
Design your friendly neighborhood Spider-Bat suit.
All right. Okay, so I got 5.
5. Ooh, boy.
But I want to empty my mind before I do it because I did not think about this before I go through.
Yes, exactly. You rush in without thinking about things beforehand. So yeah, we will allow you to roll then with your highest principal instead, which is control, which is a +1. So that brings you up to a 6.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. It's better than a 5, I guess. I don't.
Okay, so you jump out the window and you're like, I trust Marion implicitly. And you could have trusted it if it was just Marion who was involved in the making of this glider.
I didn't mean to break it. Jeez.
And as you jump by, you see a billboard with Varrick's face with the quote, "Incompetence is not equal to malice." And as you continue falling down past this billboard, you hold out the arms of the glider, and you're not going to like slam into the ground or anything, but you realize that the sort of pitch and yaw, the whatever airfoil dynamics of the wings are adjusted such that you don't actually move downward any further. In fact, it starts pushing you back upward in a way that you weren't expecting. And you start doing, it's not quite a barrel roll, it's not quite an aileron roll, it's like you start flipping around the axis of your extended arms. So as you're flying through the air, your feet are swinging around and around and around.
That's pretty cool.
You're maybe starting to get a little bit dizzy in this moment.
The old T-pose tornado, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I start monologuing to myself out loud. Oh, hopefully nobody sees me as I'm doing these like cartwheels in space.
Ooh, actually, I just realized I was looking at the wrong technique. I was looking at Connor's sheet. Empty your mind. If you mark a fatigue, you can use a different basic approach. Okay, yeah. So because we're using this outside of combat, I will allow you actually to have one more chance. You can roll an additional d6 and replace the lower of the two d6s that you rolled initially.
Okay.
Nice.
It was the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mind truly empty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just think, I say, maybe I should, when I empty my mind, actually, use it like for good ideas instead of just empty my mind and not thinking about this.
So now I think let's have you roll to push your luck to give you one last chance to pull out of this before something potentially unpleasant happens. That is plus passion, which you've got a +1 in now.
Okay, well, that's a 9.
Okay, yes. So you scrape by despite the risk that you take. You, as you're spinning and spinning and spinning, you eventually manage to get a feel for the aerodynamics going around the wings, and you manage to pull out of this spin just in time to slam into a wall with your fingers just barely gripping onto the edge. So I'll say we'll have you mark 1 fatigue from smacking into this wall here. But now you are hanging, and it doesn't seem like anybody's noticed you. You look down below you, and you can see there is a dumpling cart beneath you. It's, very, very late at night. There's not many people still wandering around. There's a couple people from the nightlife. You can actually see off in the distance by the ramen house. There's Slim Wicklock over there. He's just, chowing down on how many bowls of ramen has he had so far?
Roll for ramen.
He's on his 6th bowl of ramen right now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Slim.
Good for you, Slim.
And you hear some voices down by this dumpling cart immediately beneath you, and you see the person who's been ordering step out from beneath the awning in front of the dumpling cart and move to a nearby bench, and you see it's Kimiko, actually.
And I monologue out loud again, and I go, oh, Kimiko, I hope she doesn't see me like this, as a not-so-functioning superhero. But, on a side note, need to talk to Marion and see if I can get some sticky gloves or something so I can crawl up these walls like a spider. Probably a good idea.
Probably a good idea.
Probably.
As you are monologuing, you see another figure start walking in from further down the street, and as they move into the light, you see it is Lin Bei Fong. She steps up to the bench and sits down right next to Kimiko, and Kimiko reaches over her box of dumplings and offers one to Bei Fong, and she, pulls out a pair of chopsticks and grabs one, and they start sharing this box of dumplings together. You're a little bit far away to hear what they're talking about, but you could try and get in a little bit closer.
Yeah, I want to see if I can. Actually, you know what? I want to see if I can hit the slide down, falling with style.
Okay.
And see if I can land safely and get behind it.
All right, let's have you rely on your skills and training for this one.
Oh. Snake eyes.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Sheesh. These dice are not nice today.
No, not at all. This is not my best superhero night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you start sliding down, and you're still a little rattled from that initial impact, and you didn't realize how tired your fingers were getting, because you just saw Kimiko and you were like, all pain has left my body. And you start sliding down the wall, and you go to grab another ledge, but you miss it, and then you miss another one, and you finally manage to catch yourself, but at that point, the momentum shoves you, your feet go through a window a couple floors down, and your body just goes spiraling into this room a couple floors down on the apartment building that you've been living in. And you find yourself now in a sort of shared dormitory sort of situation of a few of the other workers. And you look to one side and you see you're face to face with one of the bunks, and this person has just opened their eyes, and you hear them whisper, "Spider Batman."
Yes, it is I. Was on patrol and I thought I saw something in here, so I thought I'd check it out, and
You
everything
thought you saw
seemed safe.
something in here? Am I in danger, Spider Batman?
No,
Am I going to
not
be
at all,
all right?
not at all. Hey, calm down. Not at all. I say, in fact, I think And then I reach into my pocket and I grab a pin of Spider-Batman and I put it on his chest. I'm like, you could be my honorary deputy. And
Did you just make a Robin?
and I jump out the window.
Yeah, you jump out the window once more, and by this point, as you leap out and start gliding to the other building on the opposite side of the street, you look down and see that Kimiko and Beifong are walking off down the street. You have unfortunately missed your opportunity to spy in on them.
Ah, Snickers.
Yeah, so you leap off to continue your patrol. We'll get to that in just a moment, but a couple other tableaus we'll touch on real quick. You see this young man runs up to the window and looks out after you, looks at the pin in his hand, and he pulls out a strip of cloth from his pocket that has a couple eye holes cut into it, and he wraps it around his head and stares into the darkness after you.
Nice.
Now, flashing back real quick to what Kimiko and Beifong were talking about. So Kimiko is sitting there waiting for her appointed meeting time, and as Beifong comes and sits down, they start sharing their dumplings, and Beifong says, "You know, I wouldn't have come here if it weren't for you." And she smiles and gives a little forlorn chuckle and says, "Well, I'm glad that I am so special to you, I suppose." And Beifong says, "We have a Varrick rule instituted, you know. If Varrick goes missing, if something strange happens around Varrick, we wait at least 48 hours usually before we investigate it because he's just that kind of man." But there are extenuating circumstances sometimes. There are special people who need special defense. And she places a hand on Kimiko's shoulder and pats it a couple times. And Kimiko starts shaking her head, and she's like, "I thought that coming to Varrick World would keep me safe from all that triad stuff from before, but I guess it follows you no matter where you go." And Beifong says, "I thought it was a very strange job that happened when that mech got stolen by the Agni Kais. It felt like there was something more going on. And we brought you to Varrick World to try and keep you safe, but according to certain sources, they have started to infiltrate even the most safe places that we thought couldn't be touched. I always wondered what else was going on during that job, but now," and she pulls out that little card with the symbol of the Grey Lotus on it, she says, "I think I'm starting to put the pieces together. You're at the center of a more tangled web than we realized, Kimiko." And Kimiko gives a kind of despondent sigh, just a shuddering release of breath. And Beifong says, "Well, don't worry, I'm here to help keep you safe. And Spider-Batman is here to keep you safe as well."
And you hear like a crash in the back.
There he goes. Our hero.
There goes my hero.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, coming back to the conversation, Beifong pulls out a clipboard from her satchel that she's got at her side and says, "Well, we've got a visitor coming to see you tomorrow, and we've taken her through the vetting process. Somebody that I believe you are familiar with, Professor Ishitako from Republic City University." And Kimiko says, "Oh, yes, I remember taking classes from Professor Ishitako back in the day. It'll be nice to see a familiar face. I learned a lot from her, and I'm glad that she's here to help with the new animatronic stuff as well, even if it's only a temporary sort of arrangement. Sounds like things have been a little unfortunate over at Public City, you know, budget cuts and all that. It's unfortunate, but at least we've got a place for her here for the time being." And Beifong stands up and says, "Well, I think I'm going to go inspect the construction grounds for just a moment, make sure that everything's ready for your former professor to arrive. Would you like to come along with me?" And Kimiko tosses the empty box of dumplings, and they walk off into the distance together, just as Spider-Batman goes shooting off across to the other building. And now that you are here atop this second roof, let's have you roll to assess a situation.
Okay.
This is going to be with creativity.
Ooh, 11.
Very nice.
That's the one I want.
There you go.
So, if you look at our basic moves, when you assess a situation, you can ask 1 or 2 questions from this list, depending on how well you have done. So, which of these questions would you like to ask?
I want to ask, what should I be on the lookout for?
Okay, yes. You notice Kimiko and Beifong heading off in the direction of the sort of mech construction area. You know that that's the place where this particular area, they've been doing a lot of work into the mech fights. In fact, Earth Rumble 89 or something, I think it is. I did the math at one point with how many years later it is. One of the big Earth Rumbles, they've decided that they're going to team up with Varrick World this year. and they're going to, instead of just relying entirely on earthbending, they're going to have that section, but they're also going to expand into this mech fighting competition as well. And so you look, and that's kind of the direction of the park they're heading off towards. Something big with the mechs might be happening in the near future.
Oh, interesting. I think out loud, I'm just like, ugh, I should probably get myself a mech and get inside that competition. Talk to Marion about that. Duly noted. And I tap my head
Duly noted.
In the vault.
in the vault.
All right, and what is your second question?
Who or what is in the greatest danger?
Yeah, you peer off in a few different directions. You notice that somebody is walking out of one of the gift shops, and they've got a big Varrick mustache that they've clipped underneath their nose.
Is that the equivalent of like Mickey ears?
Yeah, these are the Mickey ears. It's the Varrick mustaches.
Right.
So yeah, walking out of this gift shop, you see they've got a bag and they're kind of pulling stuff out of the bag and looking at it. There's a fancy teacup that has Varrick's face emblazoned on it. There is a nice robe that has Varrick's face emblazoned on it. There's a pair of sandals that have Varrick's face emblazoned on them, etc., etc. And as they're walking down the street, you see a couple figures step out from an alleyway where they were kind of leaned up against the wall and start walking slowly after this figure.
Okay, well, I immediately aim myself and I just shoot right at him with my wings and stuff and see if I can glide right into him.
All right, I'm going to make a fortune roll for your wings. That is a 10.
Yes.
So you leap from the top of this building and you shoot like an arrow. You have gotten used to the weird airflow mechanics around these wings at this point, and you just dive, you get yourself down parallel with the ground, and you hear these two thugs. One of them turns to the other and you hear them say, "Do you hear something whistling?" Just as soon as he says that, bam, you slam into both of them from behind. You've got like one arm around each of their waists and you just tackle them to the ground, and they skid across the floor with you for like 20 feet. Oof. Their faces kind of like bumping up against flagstones and stuff as they hit.
Oh, flagstones?
Yep.
Jeez, that's a cheese grater, man.
But yeah, you get to the end of this flight, and by that point, they're both just like completely unconscious. You see their tongues are lolling out the sides of their mouths, birds flying around their heads, and the person who they were following after looks back towards you, sees these two unconscious thugs on the ground, and sees you standing up and says, "Spider Batman!"
All of the day's work. Are you okay?
I'm better than okay, and pulls out an autograph book and comes rushing up towards you.
Sorry, I don't do autographs unless it's my day job. Oh, by the way, what's that over there?
This park goer turns to see what's going on, and when they look back, Spider Batman is gone.
My trademark.
Well, one day in the night of Shen Shaoxing, let's cut to the next morning then. We'll head to the office of Marion. You wake up on your cot underneath your desk. You hear your tea kettle bubbling, and you head on over to the wall to look at what's on the schedule for today, and it's maintenance day for the mechs, for Earth Rumble.
Well, I love maintenance on mechs, so good morning, Grandma Halmeoni. We got some work to do.
Oh, we sure do, dearie. Thank you for letting me work on these, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. No, I'm just curious to see what happens with them.
Would you like a cup of tea before we get started?
Is that okay with you? Like, that's not weird?
My tea is delicious. Here, try me.
All right, well.
I'm gonna pour a bit of me into a cup for him.
Okay. Yeah, I have some, and I don't know, it's probably pretty good. Ooh, oolong.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah, a little different every day. This has got me feeling energized and ready to get these mechs good and prepped for this big old competition we got coming up.
Yep, and you hear the door to the office next to you open up, and Kimiko comes walking in, and she's got her tool belt that she's putting on, her satchels, and she's got a big pair of goggles that she's fastening over her eyes, and she says, "So, I know you haven't worked on the mechs quite as much before, but this is going to be a good day to get you, up to date on how some of the servos work. They're pretty hefty motors over there. And, hopefully we'll be able to figure out how to shrink those down a little bit for some of our future projects."
Absolutely. I look forward to the challenge.
I would like to bubble excitedly in a mug.
I will say for Marion, he was probably, because I assume he knew this was coming up, he probably spent a good chunk of last night reading up on like specific motor parts and like what makes them tick and function. And I'd assume he was doing a bit of homework in anticipation for this day of maintenance.
Yeah, let's have you then let's have you assess a situation.
Sure.
That's going to be creativity.
Oh, good. 0. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's a 12.
Oh, nice.
I did my homework.
So yeah, this here is sort of a preemptive assess that you'll be able to use later on when you go to actually manage the mechs. And the part of assess a situation that I keep forgetting about, take +1 ongoing when you're acting on the answers. So, technically speaking, like Chen should have gotten a 12 instead of just an 11 on that roll to attack these thugs, but we still got a pretty good result from it anyway.
Pretty good.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll also keep in mind that you, during your observation in the night, what should I be on the lookout for, knowing that there's something going on with the mechs, we can give you a +1 in mech-related things for that. And now, Marion, you're going to get +1 in response to the 2 questions that you are going to ask.
Great. Okay. What here can I use to actively sabotage one of these mechs?
Actively sabotage.
Yes.
You can use Kimiko's trust in you.
Okay. We'll start with that.
Good heavens.
What's my best way through? I also want to make sure, so I've got one in mind that I'm going to sabotage, but I want the rest to run like a machine, for lack of a better.
Yes, run like well-oiled machines. So, what's my best way through...
Working on these bad boys.
Yes. Yeah, you'll also have Kimiko there to help you with getting an understanding of those inner mechanisms and whatnot. So I think Kimiko is kind of your secret to success in both of these aspects here.
I gotta phone a friend. Okay.
Yeah, and you're thinking the better of a job I do on the ones that I actually want to run well, the more I'll develop trust with Kimiko so that she'll be like, oh yeah, you can just do whatever you want on this final one. I trust you. It'll be fine.
Yes. And I want to make clear here that this is not from a place of outward instruction or anything. I just want to sabotage the crowd favorite because I think it would be more entertaining to watch someone else win.
Okay. We begin then packing up and heading off in the direction of the mech arena. And presumably Chen is waiting for you along the way somewhere. Yeah, in fact, as you approach, you see Chen is looking desperately for an out from talking with Slim. Because Slim has him pushed up into a corner, just and then I caught another fish, and it was this long, I swear.
Oh, really? Well, look at the time.
Yup, the time indeed. It's time for me to get another bowl of duck baki. Here we go. And he starts rushing off towards another food stand.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
That Slim really is living his best life, huh?
Oh, you know it. I mean, that guy eats a lot.
Yes, he does. Well, hey, we're going to go work on the mechs. If you want to come along for moral support or, I don't know, just to hang out with Kimiko.
Oh, yeah, that sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
And then monologue out loud. Wow, I wonder if there's some way I can get my own mech. That would be so great for Spider Batman or something. I don't know.
That would be pretty cool. You going to give it to him as a gift? What do you mean by that?
Who, what now?
We'll worry about it later.
I didn't know you knew Spider Batman, dearie.
I don't know Spider Batman. What would you give you that idea?
Oh, Shen, you silly boy. Let's go to these mechs, shall we?
Yeah, so you approach the arena and you can see that some of the athletes there are beginning to warm up, and there is a press conference there. They're interviewing the Boulder III. He's all as the crowd favorite, surely I'm going to take this entire thing in a landslide. Everybody will be screaming my name from the stands. The Boulder III. It rolls off the tongue so easily.
I made the right choice. I say internally.
Internally.
I love that we need to clarify that in this campaign.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we begin approaching the behind the scenes, the backstage area. Kimiko shows off her security pass, and you're let into the warehouse where the mechs themselves are fitted up and all got ready for the competition and whatnot.
Okay, so Kimiko, I've spent hours and hours looking over all these blueprints and getting a better understanding of what makes these fellas tick. Is there any one prominent issue that we've been having, or are we just doing general maintenance across the board?
Well, it depends on the build of the mech itself. And I suppose now might be a time when I can start talking about how mechs work in Avatar Legends.
Yeah!
So let me pull out my book here.
Big book of mechs.
So when you build a mecha, you build a chassis first. You choose one of 3 chassis. You can have a tank mecha, a suit mecha, or a hummingbird mecha. And then you can add onto that chassis certain other modules, stuff like flamethrowers or chainsaws or electricity cannons, that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
Is that all?
Yeah.
No, that's not all. There's like,
Oh, man.
there are 15 different modules that you can add onto your mecha that can do all kinds of things.
Jeez.
And they can be aggressive things like, flamethrowers, electricity cannons, etc. But there are also things where, like, you could get a stabilizer that makes it easier to avoid becoming impaired or trapped. You could get an extra battery so that you can use more abilities for your mecha. You could get redundant modules so that even if some of your modules are broken during combat, you still have backups so you can keep using those abilities.
Okay.
And so a lot of these abilities tie into like the combat system of Avatar Legends, but again, we're finding interesting ways to use these using the more standard basic moves that we have in the game. So Kimiko points you towards one set of mechs off to the side and says, these suit mechas over here, they're newer, they have a lot of improvements over the tank mechas, but because they're newer, we still run into some issues every so often. So occasionally we'll have this problem where the legs will just kind of seize up. That makes it, fall over in the middle of combat, which is something that we don't want to happen because we want our audience to be entertained. So I'm taking like an especially close look at the servos in the hip flexors, in the knees, those kinds of places, just to make sure that they're beefed up enough to be able to handle the strain.
Great. I'll pay some extra attention to those.
Yeah, especially like if you put a regular person like me into one of these mechs, it's not going to have much of an issue. But if you put someone like the Boulder III, who's 450 pounds of muscle in one of these, the next thing you know, the balance is a little bit off.
Huh, that's a really specific example. Good to know. Really good to know.
450 pounds of muscle?
450 pounds of lean muscle. Not a scrap of fat on that man's body.
Good lord.
He only eats chicken hawks and eggs like 6 times a day. That's the only meal he eats.
I turn to Marion and say, hey, the tea's boiling for some reason.
Oh, that's normal. That's, you know how tea does.
Yep.
Pay no mind to the tea.
So yeah, she puts you in charge of, we're doing kind of a bracket situation, just a mini bracket tournament. There are 8 mechas.
Okay.
She puts you in charge of 4 of the mechas. So you've got 3 of the regular ones that you want to succeed, and then you've got the Boulder III's mecha as well.
Cool, great. Okay, so I am going to do my very best on all of these, but on the Boulder III's mecha, I do want to mess with the hydraulics, like on the legs / like, I don't know, the chasis suit or wherever they're going to be. Mm-hmm. Just make it a little unworkable, but not immediately. I want it to enter combat, behave as normal, and then deteriorate.
All right.
Is kind of my intention.
Okay, let's have you rely on your skills and training with +1 forward from your assess a situation.
Yes. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Perfect. So you are able to do it with no problems.
Yes.
Yeah, Kimiko comes to look at the mechas, kind of inspect them, make sure they're doing all right. And she gets the first one, it's like, oh yeah, this is looking great. Gets the second one, oh, this is perfect. And by the time she gets to the third, she gives it just a cursory glance and is like, you know what?
Yes.
I don't even need to, you're doing such a good job. I don't even need to look at all of them. I trust that you're doing exactly what needs to be done over here.
Thank you, Kimiko. You won't regret that.
And so, yeah, all of the combatants start filing in, and you can see that a big crowd is building outside. The ring, this arena that has been built here, it is kind of an amphitheater-style arena where you've got the actual floor itself where all of the, technicians are getting stuff ready. There's a raised platform in the center, but then stadium seating going up on all 4 sides, and people are starting to pack into this place. This is, in fact, the premiere of the mecha portion of Earth Rumble 89, whatever Earth Rumble it ends up happening to be. But yeah, you see the fighters beginning to get up into their mechas to get ready for the walk-ons. There are the pyrotechnicians getting all of the fireworks ready to go to signal everybody's entrances, etc., etc. Is there anything else that you guys want to do before the show itself finally pops off?
Yes. I want to see if we can sneak Grandma in as a competitor.
Grandma?
Yeah.
In one of the suits?
Yeah. What better way to learn how to drive a mech than to drive a mech in a competition?
Well, if you insist, Yuri.
Okay, here's an idea, actually. So you look over to the stage manager, and she is flipping out. She's talking with another person back and forth, and you get close enough to hear, and she's just like, okay, but the pummeler was supposed to be here half an hour ago. That was his call time. Where's the pummeler? And this assistant stage manager is like, hey, I don't know. I'll go run over to his apartment, see if I can find him, make sure he's doing all right.
I'm gonna flag them down and say, hey, you're looking for the pummeler? Oh, sorry about the mix-up. He actually got here early. He's already in the mech. So I got him checked in. I got him tuned up. He's ready to go. So don't you worry about this. Grandma, I say to I walk away from them and say to my cup at my hip or wherever it is, like, Grandma, this is gonna be such a great learning experience.
It sure will. I'm so excited.
You're the pummeler for all intents and purposes, just by the way.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm the pummeler. Ooh,
Yeah, you sound just like him.
let's pummel.
All right, get in your robot.
So yeah, you have this entire mech. This is a hummingbird mech, so it's a bit of a smaller one.
Cool.
Perfect. I can't stretch that far.
So yeah, I'm going to, you know what, let's do some random rolling to see what kind of modules you happen to have on your hummingbird mecha.
Oh, please give me a chainsaw, man.
Let's go.
So we've got a high-powered water cannon,
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
a pneumatic piston punch,
Oh, yeah, the pummeler.
That's why he's the pummeler.
and a shock bolus launcher.
Shock bolus launcher?
Cool.
Oh, man. I've already got ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually just thinking, Chen, you were talking about how you want to have some kind of grappling thing that you can use to, like, tangle people.
Yeah.
You see Grandma Halmeoni get into this mech and start, like, testing out the different things, and you see this shock bolus, like, these 3 cables with spinning electrically charged balls at the ends of them, and you're like, okay, there's an idea.
All right, lock that one up here, and then we're good.
So, yeah. Let's get ready for our initial stage of the bracket. The doors open up, the big bay doors leading into the performance area, and the stage manager points at you and says, all right, get ready for your walk-on.
Oh, thank you. I'm ready. I'm the pummeler.
And you hear the music begins playing, and as you start flying through this hallway, this vomitorium, I suppose, into the area, you feel the fireworks starting to exploding all around you as people cheer cheering. What does your walk-on look like?
I mean, it's more of a fly-on.
That's true.
I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna do like 3 fast laps around the audience and just like punch the air with my pneumatic fists. I'm gonna land and punch the ground twice with my pneumatic fists and like, woo, I'm the pummeler, you know?
And everybody is screaming and cheering for you. In fact, make just a, let's have you roll to plead with an NPC to see just how much hype you can manage to get.
Lead with an NPC. I'm begging you to like me, guys.
Please clap.
Whew,
Or you
that's
could try and trick an NPC, depending on whether you want harmony or creativity.
It literally does not matter. I've rolled 4.
4, okay. Yeah, you come rushing in and you hear Shiro Shinobi is commentating this. Shiro Shinobi himself. And he says, it seems that the pummeler is a bit off their game today. We've never seen a walk-on like this before.
No, I'm not. I'm the pummeler.
We'll have to see how the pummeler does in this first match against the Grindmaster.
Oh,
The
no.
Grindmaster?
And you see this big tank mecha with these huge tire treads starts rolling up into the arena, and it's got just these big crushing wheels on the front of its arms.
Oh, dear.
Good heavens.
So we're going to set up a pair of competing 4 clocks for you versus the Grindmaster.
Can Chen and I get, like, maybe not front row seats, but, like, maybe back row seats so we can really see all the action?
Yeah, if you want to depart, like, you're done with all of your maintenance stuff for right now, so Kimiko's like, yeah, you can go sit wherever you want.
I just want to enjoy the show, see how it plays out.
I mean, since you guys work here, you could probably go stand up by the lights.
Word.
Get an overhead view.
In the catwalk or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chen, you want to get a good view of this bout?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me go grab some popcorn, too.
Okay.
Can I grab some popcorn?
Cool.
Yeah, and here's something interesting. As you are rushing off towards the popcorn area, and like before you've actually left, they have free concessions for the workers, so you're able to grab some from the craft service table. And you look over to like one corner of the warehouse that has a big sort of bay door open to the outside, and you see Kimiko is speaking with somebody that you haven't seen before, and it's this woman who's wearing sort of a long lab coat looking sort of costume. And it's the strangest thing. She's got this apparatus attached to her back by this harness. And it's got these 5 long appendages, these metallic appendages coming out of it.
No!
And she's using these appendages to, like, pick up bits of mecha and doing little fixes and tweaks and whatnot.
What?
And you hear Kimiko going like, "Oh, Professor Ishitako, I'm so glad that we can have you here today to help out with this. This contraption is amazing. It's like nothing I've ever seen before." And Professor Ishitako goes, "Yeah, well, I was able to use some of my severance from Republic City University to work on some personal projects."
Nice.
I have to ask real quick, is Ishitako, is that octopus in another language?
Part of it is octopus in another language.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's gotta be 2 things, and JP is getting really excited, but Chen walks over. Oh, hi, Kimmy.
Oh, hi, Shen. This is Professor Ishitako. She used to teach me at Republic City University in the engineering department.
I go to shake hands, but I don't know which one to shake because there's so many hands.
Oh, you're adorable. Here, you can shake just my regular human hand.
Oh, yes, of course. Wow, it's such an honor to meet you. What did you teach at the university?
Mechanical engineering. I taught there for years and years and years, but budget cuts. What you gonna do?
No, I bet that's a real rough one.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going to school too. Mechanical engineering sounds like I haven't really discovered exactly what I'm going to school for, but mechanical engineering was on my short list.
Oh, well, if it had been just a little while before now, I would have really recommended it because we had a great program.
What happened to it?
It's politics. It's university politics.
Oh, politics. I not one for politics.
Yeah, let's have you roll to assess a situation during this conversation you're having here.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, same.
That is a 12.
12. Perfect.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right, so which of these questions would you like to ask? You get 2 of them.
I'm going to ask, what should I be on the lookout for?
Yeah, so you're watching her talk about these politics at the university, and you catch her glancing over to the side, and when you follow her gaze, you see a big poster of Varrick that's like pasted up to the wall. They're giving a big thumbs up saying, "Incompetence is not equal to malice." And she glances over, and you see just like a little bit of fire appear in her eyes, and you go back into your mind palace. I mean, you got a full 12 on this roll. You remember reading, like, you're trying to keep yourself up to date. You're reading the headlines of the articles so you can know what's going on in the city, because, knowledge is power, and with great power comes great responsibility. So you need lots of knowledge for your responsibility, et cetera, et cetera.
Of course.
And you remember reading an article about how, Varrick, he was doing some teaching at Republic City University. He was a guest lecturer, but he got bored of that. That's why he decided to, start Varrick World. But before he had left, you remember hearing that he'd gotten put on the board at the university that was in charge of dispersing funding for the various departments. And it was kind of a controversial move. Some people weren't very happy about the way that Varrick was handling the funds at Republic City University.
Interesting. And I guess I get one more question.
Yep.
Let's go with who or what is the biggest threat?
You start putting the pieces together in your mind. You look up at this person who has showed up with this mechanical pentapus apparatus strapped to her back, who has an obvious anger at Varrick, the person who has been messing with funding at Republic City University. And you're like, okay, this person, okay, I'll have to keep my eye on this person.
And how do you pronounce the name again?
Ishitako.
Ishitako. Ishitako, what brings you here today? Are you here to see the mechs?
Yes, I'm here to, watch my star pupil to see what she's been doing here at Varrick World.
Very nice. And Varrick, is he? I haven't seen him today. Is he here today?
Oh, I haven't seen him. I wish he was here. I would love to, just say hi to him.
Great. And so he is not in the vicinity, so we don't have to worry about that.
Worry about that.
Yep. Yeah. And I monologue out loud. I'm like, oh wow, good thing Varrick's not here, or else we probably have ourselves a little bit of a scrap on our hands.
Oh, you hate Varrick too. I mean, join the club.
Who says I hate Varrick? I love Varrick.
Oh, I love Varrick too.
In fact, you know what? I need to use the bathroom, and then I run to the bathroom.
All right. So yeah, Marion, you watch Chen rush off to the bathroom as usual.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
And I quickly change into Spider Batman, but I go up and I kind of just assess the situation from where I'm at, just kind of like watch around and just keep an eye on everything.
Yeah, you like get your grapple, your twin boomerangs have like climbing hooks on the end. So you're able to pull yourself up to like one of the top areas. Like there's the commentator box right there, and you're just right here as well, watching everything that's going on down below. Let's have you know what? You said you're going to assess the situation. Let's have you assess the situation once more.
And then what was that a plus again?
Plus creativity.
So that's a 9.
All right, so you get 1 question from the list.
Yeah, what should I be on the lookout for?
Yeah.
Or what is in the greatest danger?
Yeah. In the greatest danger. Interesting. So you look down there as the various mechs are doing their walk-ons, and you've been hanging around with Marion and Kimiko enough that you have like a general idea of what these mechanics should look like as they're moving around. And there's something about the way that the Boulder III's mech is moving that's just a little off.
Oh,
That's weird.
it's just a little off though. I guess I keep watching it because there's nothing really like it hasn't like broken down or anything yet. But I keep my eye on it.
So yeah, you keep your eye on the Boulder III's mech, and we're going to get into our first round of the actual tournament here. We've got the Pummeler versus the Grindmaster. So we're going to get, like I said, we've got our 2 competing 4 clocks to see who's going to win in this competition. And you see the referee get to the center and hold up a big flag above his head, and you hear Shiro Shinobi's voice from the commentator box, 3, 2, 1, fight! And the flag is tossed to the ground, the referee moves out of the way, and the floor is yours, Grandma Halmeoni.
I'm taking to the skies first things first. And once I'm up there, I want to blast that thing so hard with as much water as I can. I want it to be thoroughly soaked.
Nice.
Yeah, I think one thing that I've been thinking of in response to the combat we had earlier down in the Iceworks, one of the things that is kind of cool about combat in this game is it gives you the opportunity to choose different approaches in combat that will then allow you to roll with different things, so it's not just always relying on your skills and training with focus over and over and over again. So in this instance, like if you are blasting with these hydro cannons, you could advance an attack and roll with passion instead, for example.
Well, the thing is, I'm kind of setting something up here. I don't know if there's like a setting up option.
Yeah, we could defend and maneuver.
Sure, yeah.
That is with focus,
That's bad for me.
which is not great for you.
For the folks back home, I have a -1 in focus. Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Ned.
Yes.
This would count as my third background, wouldn't it?
Urban, yeah, if you're in a robot.
There you go.
So I can use my creativity?
Let's go for it.
Nice.
All right, that's 2 added onto it. Let's see what happens. That is a 12.
Full success. Ooh, baby. So yeah, you start blasting the Grindmaster with these hydro cannons, just full force, and you see like the tank treads are trying to push it forward, but even as they're doing that, they're slipping against the water that is accumulating on the ground beneath it, and it's starting to get pushed back against the ropes. We're going to mark 2 segments of that 4 clock, so there are only 2 left.
Well, if he's distracted, I want to throw the electric bolas at it.
Yeah.
And I want to fry the stuff inside.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like we're picking up skills again with your 3rd background, so you can roll creativity for that.
Ah, cool. That is 9.
Baby,
All right, partial success. So you toss the shock bolus, and it's a little bit off. You don't quite hit directly on the mech itself, but you do manage to hit in a place where there's a lot of water accumulated, and the electricity travels up the stream onto the Grindmaster, and you can see it beginning to twitch and spasm in weird ways. So we're going to mark 1 tick on that clock, but in response to that, the Grindmaster is going to turn to you and toss out a 3rd arm, and it has a high-powered electromagnet on it and is going to start pulling you towards itself. So we're going to mark 1 tick on your progress clock. So you've got 3 ticks left, and the Grindmaster only has 1 tick left.
Hold on a minute. It's pulling me closer.
Yes.
I suppose it's time to show him why I'm the pummeler. And I'm gonna punch the crap out of it with my power arms.
All right, using the additional force, you know what, I'm going to say because of the additional force of being pulled towards it, we can give you +1 on this roll.
Oh, you're a hero. That is 11.
All right, full success. what does it look like as you pummel the Grindmaster?
I mean, he's magneting me in, so I'm already flying at him pretty quick. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna like slingshot myself at him with fist pumping and just like wham right in the middle, hard as I can.
Yeah. He just goes like, hits the back ropes, and even though they're kind of elastic, snaps the back ropes with the force of your pummeling and goes flying against the far wall. Dust and bits of shards of rock fly everywhere, and the crowd is cheering uproariously. You hear Shiro Shinobi say, "Well, perhaps the pummeler isn't as off his game today as I was thinking." And as we hear the cheers of the crowd, we see a few different tableaus. Grandma Halmeoni standing with pummeling fists in the air. We see Chen up on the far distant end, perched atop this spire, watching everything going on. We see, for a moment, Professor Ishitako standing by, arms folded, looking calmly at the scene, and then Marion just sitting there eating a whole bunch of popcorn.
Oh yeah, I'm snacking.
And I think that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Woo!
All right.
I'm the pummeler.
She's terrifying.
Get pummeled.
This is great.
Ooh boy, I love so much everything about this campaign.
Yes, same.
What is this, the third episode and we're already using fighting bots?
Yeah, right?
Yep, it's amazing. I love it. It's everybody, if you like Avatar Legends, get the Republic City sourcebook because it's got all the rules for how to have mecha fights in it.
It rocks.
Well, shoot, I'm excited to get into the next episode to see what continues to happen in this here tournament. So for now, everybody, just thanks so much for listening to ImpTab Avatar. We'll be back next time with more adventures in the world of Varrick World. If you want more, go ahead and subscribe, maybe even give us a review. We would be as happy as a T-Spirit who just won the first match of a big awesome tournament if you go ahead and give us a review on the podcatcher of your choice. We're also all over social media at Improv Tabletop, so if you'd like to connect with us there, maybe you want to talk with JP about some of his favorite superhero influences that are going into the creation of Shen Xiaoxing, don't be afraid to reach out. Now it's time to shout out our next batch of Sticker Club patrons.
Oh yeah.
And this week we're shouting out John Michael Carter Luckett, Mackenzie Peterson, and Michael Sear.
Ow, ow. Ooh, I like those guys.
These are three of the other technicians who are there, making sure that all the robots are doing well. And you know, that's honestly part of why Grandma Halmeoni is doing so well as the pummeler, is because these three people were there tuning up your mech, making sure that everything was as smoothly functional as possible.
Aw, you guys.
That's really cool of you guys. Less work for me.
And we will have more Sticker Club patrons to shout out next week. And if you, dear listener, want to join their ranks, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/improvtabletop, where you can also get things like Discord access, biannual sticker packs, and more, such as our current ongoing patron-exclusive campaign, Miceborn, the Mouse Ritter Chronicles.
It's quite good.
It's quite good.
Quite cheesy.
Yes, cheesy in the best ways possible.
Good. Yes.
And now let's do a round of plugs. JP, would you like to take that this time around?
Sure. As always, I cast Fireball as our sister podcast, and I hear great things are happening in the recordings.
Very great things.
I would plug the Marvel Unlimited and DC Infinite apps. They are monthly subscriptions that you can get at like so many comics on them. It's like $7 a month or whatever. I got both of them, and I love it. I read comics a lot.
Nice.
So plenty of inspiration coming into this character here.
Oh yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us here in the world of ImpTab Avatar, Varrick World. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and I've been joined by...
Connor Wood, have a sip of liberty.
Justin Porter, aka JP, and I can fly like a spider Batman to the sea.
And Thomas Ryan as the pummeler.
Much love and stuff, everybody. We'll catch you next time on ImpTab Avatar.
For all you Americans, just a side plug, you need to watch The Magic Pudding. Anyway,
The Magic Pudding.
it's an Australian folklore like thing where they like the person is it's a pudding that just keeps reinventing himself. It's actually a great show.
Interesting.
Anyway.
The Magic Pudding.
We don't have to put that in the episode. I'm just
We can make that be like the post-credits or something.
right.